Good morning and welcome to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I am located at 1563 Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania, and I am here with you every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. on this station to bring you, the landowner, the information that you need regarding natural gas development in Pennsylvania. So if you are looking for landowner, oil and gas right owner information, well, you've came to the right place, because I, Attorney Doug Clark at the Clark Law Firm, have not, do not, and listen closely, please, will not, have not, do not represent oil and gas companies. Never have, mark my words, never, ever, ever will. I am here to represent, assist, and do everything I can to represent and help Pennsylvania landowners and oil and gas right owners. I represent landowners for all oil and gas related or direct matters, including lawyer talk, but not limited to gas lease negotiations, gas lease modifications, amendments, extensions, pipeline and water line agreements, roadway agreements, royalty and royalty-related issues, breach of contract issues. Has the gas company breached your oil and gas lease? Unitization issues. Have you been properly unitized? Are you being properly paid? Surface use agreements to use the surface of your property, meter sites, compressor stations, all of those type of surface agreements, pig launchers, receivers, anything above ground, well pad agreements. And hopefully you're getting the point, any and everything related to oil and natural gas development. Give us a call, 570-307-0702. 570-307-0702. Give us a call, learn what we do, see if we can help you. And please, 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 call not on the last day. We have people with some of these eminent domain condemnation pipelines calling when there's nothing or very little that we can do. Don't wait to the bitter end. Call, learn what your rights are. You'll hear me say this a lot, reviews and consultations. And I think it's just an incredible, well, it's me involved, but it's an incredible service because you can spend an hour or two of time, and we do them by telephone. We can do multiple people on the same property, do them all the time, and they are always very, very helpful to you, the landowner, regardless of what you're being presented with, whether it be a pipeline right-of-way agreement, a well pad agreement, whether it be a roadway agreement, surface use, any of these agreements. Before you do anything, give us a call, get a review and consultation, and then you'll have the tools, the education, and the information to decide how you want to go forward. Do not rely on the gas or pipeline company landman because they work for the gas and pipeline company. Think about it. It's not a major investment just to learn what your rights are. And I know I'm going longer than this than I normally do, but it's just so darn important, and it happens every week. And that's why I get kind of stuck in some of these things sometimes, because just this week it happened multiple times. And I'm just glad that, some people called when the landman approached and said, hey, here's what I got, what's going on. And then some people call, and sometimes people call after they've signed and say, well, geez, now I realize that wasn't good. I want to get out of it. Well, you probably can't. You got to call before you sign. Put the pen down and call. I'll say my number, 570-307-0702. We want to hear from you. I want to help you. I do. And check out pagasleaseattorney.com. Check out pipelineattorney.com. I have been doing this radio show, All Things Marcellus, since August of 2010. Think about it. Weekly radio show, informational for you, the landowner, we're in our 7th year. check out pagasleaseattorney.com. If you're a new listener, and we're broadcasting now in some new areas and some new stations, you're a new listener, go check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. If you're not looking for representation, but you want information, check out the websites. If you are looking for representation, you say, I hear this guy, what's his story? Go check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Read the testimonials from clients that we've represented and assisted. Very proud of those. I am very, very proud of those. Every single one of them. Check them out. Check out prior radio shows that are available on the websites. So, each week we kind of have a different topic. But hey, you want to listen to a royalty deduction show, a well pad show, pipeline show, leasing show, amendment show, modification show, go check out pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Get the show that's right for you and check it out. Again, every show is never specific legal advice for any individual, but it's to get you thinking. And the specific legal advice is always get specific legal advice for you. And a reminder, regardless of where you are and you need assistance, give us a call. I say that we have clients who have been located all across the country, Alaska, literally Hawaii, California, Texas, Florida, you name it. I can't say every state, but people who own or have gas rights or own property in Pennsylvania, all across Pennsylvania, Canada, Micronesia. Don't be worried about distance. Please do not be worried about distance. And if you are worried about distance to the office, give us a call. Check out the website, but give us a call and see, if we're right for you. And I say this often, that you need to hire a lawyer in a law firm that is right for you. And what is right for one person may not be right for another person. So you need to find the law firm that is right for you, the lawyer that is right for you. Someone that is going to work, fight, and be dedicated to assist you. Remember, not the landman, because he or she should be dedicated to assist their client, to represent their client, which is the oil and gas company. Real quick, just funny story. Landman calls. I may even talk about this some today. A survey permission form. Longtime clients, very brilliant clients in my opinion. And the reason why is because every time they're contacted, they hand the landman my card and say, please contact Doug Clark. They contact me, we find out what it is, I talk to the client and say, hey, here's what this is, here's what your leverage is, here's what your rights are, here's what the possibilities are, how do you want to proceed? These guys, I've been representing these guys since I think 2008, and they have done so unbelievably well in all aspects, pipeline agreements, gas lease, roadways, everything, because from the first contact, they've reached out, we've assessed their leverage, we've assessed their rights, and they've made very, very smart decisions, and they have maximized the money that they have been paid for each and every agreement, as well as the additional language, the addendum terms. Please, guys, they throw 20 addendums at you. Look, I can make 50 addendums that mean nothing. Quality, not quantity. If we can have a high quantity, meaning a lot of quality addendum, hey, that's wonderful. We'll take it. But I tell people this, I would rather be able to pick 6 addendum terms and that's it versus the 20, 25, 15 that I see companies grant or offer people. And people say, oh, I got a big addendum. I got 10, 15 terms, 20 terms, 25 terms. Well, how many of them mean something? How many of them mean something? How many of them just track statutes or regulations that have to be followed anyway? You got to look at these things. You got to look and make sure that you're maximizing money and language. We have to do it in every case. And listen, please, to this also. Every time you are handed a document, anytime you are asked to sign any document, look at that as a potential and probable, but at least potential opportunity. opportunity. And then pick up the phone, call me, call somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, and learn your rights and maximize your situation. We are leaving, Pennsylvania landowners, leaving hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. And that's not an exaggeration. We're leaving that money on the table, leaving property protections for your children, your grandchildren, because you trust the company. You trust the landman. You trust, what they're telling me, they're working for me. We got to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that, unless you just don't care. And if you don't care, you're probably not listening to this show. But you are listening to the show, and you're listening to me, Attorney Doug Clark, and this is All Things Marcellus, where you can join me every single Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station, and you can hear today's show Monday morning, all week, posted online, pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Many shows available there. Check them out. Okay, let's end this segment with a funny little story. So, landman calls in. Landman calls. Actually, it's back to these longtime clients. They say, hey, we were approached for a survey for a pipeline company that wants to survey our property for a potential pipeline. Now, we have done other pipeline agreements in the past. We've done a well pad agreement here. We've done the gas lease. We've actually done a mitigation of wetlands agreement. We've done a lot of stuff with this property. And again, I am confident that we've maximized compensation and property protections and preserving the ability to have future opportunities by doing good agreements. And remember, too, it's never too late to start doing good agreements. So if you've done 2 or 3 bad ones in the past and you're approached again, let's get it right now. If you've done one in the past bad, well, let's make that your only bad one. It is never too late to do a good agreement. So you can always pick up the phone and give us or somebody who knows what they're doing a call to help you stop the bleeding. Let's make these the best possible agreements we can with the most money and protections. So, client calls, landman sends the survey form. Sorry, it's just funny. In a shocking turn of events, in a shock define gambling here. Shocking turn of events. Some people will get my Casablanca reference. Shocking turn of events. The landman says, as he sends a survey form, very basic form. It says, I'm really walking a fine tightrope here. This poor guy is walking a fine tightrope, really small tightrope. What rope is he walking here? Well, he's really pro landowner. But he represents the company, so he's walking a real narrow, razor-thin tightrope here. And so I said, well, listen, let's make this very easy for you, sir. We'll make this, and very respectfully. Everyone has jobs to do. We need to know their job. We need to know our job, and we need to do the best we can, which we can do. So say, okay, sir, let me take this stress off you. Let me widen this tightrope so you have a 50-foot wide floor. We're going to easement. You have a 50-foot wide floor. There's no longer a tightrope. We're going to put you on the ground. We're going to put you on the ground in the desert, but we're going to give you a bunch of water. We're going to turn down the heat. We're going to make you real comfortable. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to make it real easy for you, because here's the deal. I now, respectfully, will represent the landowner. I'll take care of the landowner. So then you won't have this tightrope to walk, because you can just represent your client. Since that's your job, this will be much less stressful for you. You do what you need to do on behalf of your client. I'll do what I need to do on behalf of my client. And that's how the process is supposed to work. And that'll eliminate all your stress. Because I really feel bad for you, because if you have all this stress because you're so pro landowner, then unfortunately you got the wrong job, sir. You got the wrong job. Because if you're pro landowner, you got the wrong job. You should be representing the landowner. You should be representing the landowner. So we want to take care of this stress. Let's help these guys. These guys that are so pro-landowner, let's help them out. Let's help them out. And let's make sure that we have our own person helping us and somebody with the knowledge to assist us to maximize the situation. All right, let's break it off there. You're listening to, now this is just the first segment, so stay tuned. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm, where you can join me right here in this station each and every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. I will be right back after yet another super important message. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me right here on this station every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. That's every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. And remember, today's show, as many other shows, have been doing this show since 2010. So many other shows are up and available on the websites. Check out the websites for information or representation interest. Again, or just information, or check out the prior radio shows. Go to pagasleaseattorney.com, pipelineattorney.com. Go check them out. A lot of valuable information for you. So, okay, I was telling a story about the poor guy, landman walking a tightrope because he was so pro-landowner, but his client is the gas or pipeline company. So, again, feel bad for you because you, if you're so pro landowner, unfortunately, you're representing the other side. So if you're somehow representing the landowner, then you're doing a very big disservice for your actual client, which would be the oil and gas company. So remember, you'll hear if you're new to the show, you may hear this a couple times. Do not rely on the gas or pipeline company landman because they represent the gas and pipeline company. Look around, go talk to people, remember who represents who, and make sure that you're aware of that and you're doing the best you can. So do you want to have as your advocate the person who works for the other side? And amazing to me, unfortunately, it still amazes me, or unfortunately it still happens. I think it'll always amaze me, but where a person could say, all right, I'm going to rely on the guy or lady working for the other side. And again, it's adversarial. There's a piece of paper. There's words written on the paper. They want to have the words on the paper that are most favorable to them. You should want to have the words on that paper that are most favorable to you. And how do you get that? Do you get that by having the company draw and make changes to their document? Or do you get that by having a knowledgeable, experienced, hopefully intelligent person working for you, representing your interests? And it's kind of a rhetorical question, but I'll answer it anyway. Get somebody to represent you. Get your assistance. Again, this is going to be a theme I'm going to be hitting on more and more and more. When you are given a document to sign, your first thought should be, is this an opportunity for me? That should be your first thought. Your second thought should be, let me look at my hand to make sure there's not a pen in it, because I'm not going to sign this thing. And I don't want to trip and fall and stumble and my signature end up on this document. No, I'm going to listen, put the pen, don't have a pen in your hand, keep it away, and do not sign anything. Then call me or someone who knows what they're doing, learn about your rights and learn about what you can do. That is how you will maximize compensation. That is how you will maximize property protection terms for you, your children, and your grandchildren. That's how you do it. I assure you, the companies want apathy. They want you to just sign anything. Listen to when they talk to you. They're always going to be focusing on money, 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 money. Oh, you're going to be rich, 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 rich. Look around. How many rich people do you see around you? So we need to maximize these agreements. We have to. And if you know what you're doing, it can be done. It can be done. We do it all the time. It can be done, and we got to start doing this. People are signing bad agreements all the time, and then companies use low gas prices as a way to convince people to sign more bad agreements. We got to stop this. We have to stop signing bad agreements. How do you do that? You have a review and consultation. Me, somebody else, but you learn about your rights. You learn, can I say no? Can I negotiate? What's a reasonable negotiation position? How hard can I push this? How aggressive can I be? All of those different things are generally very easy to evaluate. Sometimes they're more difficult, but with experience, it becomes much easier. But you have to do a proper evaluation, assess your position, and then take the right path for you. We do it all the time. I encourage you, I don't care where you're located. If you want to learn more, call the office, 570-307-0702. Learn more. These reviews and consultations, with what you do, you send me the documents. I look at it, I become familiar. I learn, I read everything. I understand. Usually I've seen most of these before. Then I do whatever other independent research I need to do to try to assess your leverage. Then we have a telephone conversation or in an office meeting, and we go through everything, and we leave that conversation. Your questions are answered. You have a plan and a strategy, and you know what your rights are, and you decide how you want to proceed. And sometimes that involves me working more with the client, landowner, and other times it doesn't. But for an hour or two, usually an hour or two of time, you are in a whole different position than you were an hour or two before that. It happens all the time. So give us a call, learn about it. I'm sorry to be commercial on this, but I'm just... oh boy, these documents, and I'm going to talk about some here in a second, but let me say this, and I don't know if I'm going to get to this one today, but temporary workspace option agreement. As an example, you get one of those, put it down, give me a call. You get a roadway, any of these things, 570-307-0702. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Join me right here, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station. Okay, I'm going to talk about our poor guy who is walking such a thin tightrope because he's so pro-landowner, but yet he works for the company. So he sends the survey form. Well, first he says to the landowner, which is hilarious to me, the landowner says, yeah, here's my lawyer, Doug Clark. Give him a call. Why do we need to have you need a lawyer. We need a lawyer. Well, fortunately, these people know because I've represented them in the past, and they have obtained substantial, and it's just the truth. It's not please, I hope this doesn't come off wrong. But I have represented these particular clients since, I believe, since 2008. So they've had experience. They've seen what we've done and how we've improved agreements and how tens of thousands of dollars can sometimes turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they know firsthand on multiple occasions the value of having an attorney who knows what they're doing, who's working aggressively to help them. So that's just a very funny statement to this lady who is given this card, and when she gives the man the card, and the guy says, oh, what do you need an attorney for? Well, because routinely my attorney has obtained much higher compensation than you've offered, and much better agreements and much better language, and has put me in a position that now every time somebody comes, they have to do a new agreement. So that's why I need an attorney. So send this document to my attorney. My attorney will look at it. He'll talk to me, and then I'll decide how we want to proceed. So in this case, this document is a survey authorization form. Now look, I'm going to tell you, this isn't world peace we're negotiating here. This is a survey authorization form. And what that means is the company would like to survey on the property. They want to conduct surveys, in this case for a pipeline. So right off the bat, the question is, do you need to grant permission? Do you want to grant permission? Then why would you grant permission, or why would you not grant permission? Look, again, not super complicated questions, but sometimes the answers can be. So do you have to agree to this? In this case, and you got to look at the lease and things like that. But in this case, that was a very easy answer. No, you didn't have to agree to it. Then we say, okay, well, we don't have to. Then we move into, okay, well, why do we want to, or why would we not? Now, in this case, we say, hey, look, we'll let you survey, but obviously we're not committing to anything, but we'll let you survey. And when you're done surveying, then if you want to present an agreement, you can present it to us. We will then take it to our attorney, and then we will start to make some decisions at that point whether we're interested to go even further. Now, what if you say, I don't care if they were going to pay me $1 million. I don't want a pipeline on my property. Well, simply say, thank you, but no thank you, sir. I am not interested in approving or giving you these survey rights. Very reasonable position. However, generally speaking, not specific advice, surveying for pipelines and things like that do not typically create issues for the landowner. Again, some landowners it may, but generally it doesn't. So these guys say, okay, hey, look, we may not even be that interested in doing an agreement. Now, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but either way, if you're interested or if you're not even that interested, you may want to say yes. These people may elect to say yes, because they say, well, look, it's a potential opportunity. Remember what I said earlier. Every time you're given a document, think this may be a potential opportunity. So we say, okay, survey. And then maybe they come back and they survey and they say, okay, and making up numbers for illustration, they say, hey, landowner, we'll give you $50,000 for this easement that we would like to have across your property. You say, okay, well, you know what? I'm not really crazy about it. Not really excited about it. Really don't care to have it. So what would it be worth it to me? Well, instead of $50,000, if you give me $200,000, or if you give me $250,000, or whatever that number may be, you say, hey, you give me that, then, well, all right, I would do it. So you say, you know what? Not really interested in this. I would do it for $250,000, but I'm not going to do it for $50,000. What happens? Oh, you're crazy. But if they need it and they're willing to pay for it, they come back. If they don't come back. But this is just an illustration. You got to look at this in a lot more detail, and that's where reviews and consultations are so valuable to set up a plan and how to do things. But you may want to grant survey permission in an example like this just to give yourself an opportunity. However, holding in my hand the survey permission document, and we don't want to just sign this. We'll make a couple very reasonable, very basic changes. I'll talk about those changes when I get back. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can join me right here on this station every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. You can call me 570-307-0702. I am doing so much more work here in 2017. Susquehanna, Bradford counties, pipelines, roadways, a lot more pipeline work coming out. Again, you get these documents, they are potential opportunities. Call, get a review and consultation, get a game plan, and maximize every single opportunity that you get. Maximize it for yourself, maximize it for your children and their children, because a lot of these agreements are going to last a century, 100 years. Maximize them. You only get one chance. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. I'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can join me right here every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m., right here on this station. Call us, reviews and consultations. Again, a lot's starting to develop here in Susquehanna, Bradford County, northeastern Pennsylvania, anywhere. But I'm doing more and more pipeline, well sites, these agreements. Oh, we want to drill multi-unit wells. Look, give us a call, 570-307-0702, 570-307-0702. Please always remember, it is never too late to stop signing bad agreements. So if you signed a bad lease, let's not do a bad pipeline agreement. If you signed a bad pipeline and lease, let's not do another bad pipeline agreement. Give us a call. I know we can help you out. 570-307-0702, and tune in each week on this station, 8 to 9 a.m. for All Things Marcellus, the landowner radio show. Okay, so back to our landman. Poor guy walking a very razor-thin tightrope because he's so pro-landowner. Well, thankfully now he doesn't have to walk a tightrope because the landowner has their own representation, and he can go back to dedicating his representation to his client, not the other side. Just think about it. Oh, yeah, hey, company, I'm walking a tightrope. I'm really pro-company, but I'm representing the land. That's ludicrous. I mean, I can't even... oh, boy. Boy. Anyway, all right. Sorry. It's okay. It just drives me. It just makes me insane. Remember, guys, the landman works for the oil and gas pipeline companies, not you. Not you. And if they did, they'd have your business card in their pocket, not their client's business card in their pocket. All right, you're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. All right, survey authorization form. So, okay, back to my little example here. The landowner presented a survey authorization form. In this case, we look at it, have a conversation, say, hey, look, this can be a potential opportunity. And even if you don't want it, if you don't mind a survey, well, then you can hear what they have to say, and you can ask for a lot more money than what they offer. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, hey, you had no problem. As long as you signed a reasonable survey authorization or survey permit form. What do I mean by that? Well, you're going to grant a company the ability to come on the property to conduct surveys. And in this case, looking at the form, in this case, you're providing this this is a pipeline company, its affiliates, agents, employees, and contractors the permission to enter the property for the purposes of, okay, so remember, that's a lot of people, a lot of potential people that could enter the property for the purposes, of making land, civil, archaeological, biological, cultural, environmental, geotechnical, historical surveys, and any and all other surveys that are reasonably related to permitting the sites needed for a pipeline, expressly subject to the condition that I am paid for any and all damages to crops that may be caused by such activity. Okay, pay for crops. Okay. So let's just recap. It's a lot of darn people that could go on the property. But again, probably for most people may not be a problem. A lot of different surveys that they can do. Geotechnical. Better know what that means. All right. So a lot of surveys, a lot of different people. All right. Maybe that's not making me terribly excited, but okay. I see this as a potential opportunity, and there's a good chance that I may not have any problems, or probably won't, so I'm still open to do this. So then it goes on, and it says that all operations under this survey authorization shall be conducted by the company's agents or contractors at its sole expense and risk. All right, good. And of course, hey, we would expect that. In a proper and workmanlike manner, good, we'd expect that. In accordance with all applicable laws and regulations. Well, wouldn't we expect that too? You're going to come out and just start breaking laws all over the place? But no, they're going to follow laws. You know what, guys? Most times we assume that that's going to be the case. So we just go to words, give the people words. Even though we have to do it anyway, throw in words so they'll be happier. Okay, so follow laws, whether federal, state, county, or local. Congratulations. We kind of assume that you're going to do that, but okay, we'll take it in our agreement. The company assumes all risks and liability and shall protect, defend, very good, very good, very good, protect, defend, indemnify, and hold the undersigned, being landowner, harmless from and against each and every suit, demand, or cause of action, and any and all, we like that, liabilities, expenses, liens, losses, claims, damages, costs, including court costs and reasonable attorney fees. I like all of this. This is good. You should never, ever, ever sign any document that doesn't have very strong indemnification language in it. Many of these don't. So one thing that's good, they give you indemnification language here. But remember, all indemnification language is not written the same. They can be written in many, many, many different ways. So you have to be careful. The word defend is often excluded. So if you're sued, you're going to have to defend yourself. That can be very expensive. Hundreds of thousands of dollars expensive. Can be. You need to protect yourself. So we look at this and say, okay, so far so good. Goes on to say, based on any claim of personal injury, death, or property damage resulted from the surveys, unless such damage, injury, or loss is caused by the negligence of the undersigned, which is the landowner. Look, probably like to put in there like gross negligence maybe. You don't want to get into a fight where they say, oh, we're not going to cover you or protect you because you didn't do something that we thought you should have done. And even if you're right, you don't want to get into a battle over was I negligent or do something unreasonable or not. So we got to be careful about that. But for a lot of people, that's going to go ahead and work. So then it goes on and it just asks if there's a spring or a water well on the property, are there drain tiles on the property, septic system, or any private utility. If you know that, you want to answer it, you go ahead and do it. So that's it. That's the survey form. You should be thinking about some things. Remember, it's all these different, the company and all of their agents and all of these different types of surveys that they can perform. They can do, biological, archaeological, land, civil, cultural, environmental, geotechnical, historical surveys, and any other surveys that are reasonably related to the permitted sites needed for the pipeline. That's a lot. That's a lot. Here's a question you might want to ask. Well, when's this going to happen? There's a lot of different people that can walk onto my property. And I live out in the country. And how do I know who's on my property? When is it going to happen? Are you going to notify me when you're going to be on the property? Are you going to have 10 people on the property, one person on the property? Are you going to drive on the property, ATVs on the property? How are you going to go on the property? When are you going to go on the property? I come home, all of a sudden I see 10 people all across my property. Well, what are they on there for? Am I going to get advanced notice of when you're going to come on the property? And, by the way, how long is this good for? Does this last forever? Have I just given you permission for the rest of time to come onto my property to conduct surveys at any time? Anytime. Next year, this year, 20 years from now? This is very, very broad. Remember, companies like broad. We like narrow as a general rule. I'm going to talk about what we do to clean this up when we get back after this break. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. You can join me right here every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. on this station. And listen, Northeastern Pennsylvania doing a lot of work now with pipelines, roadways, 2017, starting to light up quite a bit. Well pads, unitization issues. Love those. Unitization, royalty issues. Give us a call, 570-307-0702. I'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. Make sure you join me every week at this time on this station, where I'm going to give you, the Pennsylvania landowner, oil and gas right owner, the information that you need regarding natural gas development in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And a reminder, if you're new to the show or old to the show, check out the websites at pagasleaseattorney.com. check out pipelineattorney.com. Go there. Use it as a resource. The show and websites are not specific advice for anyone, but they are resources to get you thinking, to educate you. We want to even this playing field. It's way too slanted in one direction. We need to get the information out to you. Again, and I'm sorry, but these reviews and consultations just week in and week out are so valuable to the landowners. They generally take only an hour to 2 review, and usually I do them conference calls, but we can do them in office. Love to see you. They're just a great resource for landowners because we need to have everyone stop signing bad agreements, and they're out there everywhere. You know, I can't say that I ever saw, except maybe in the ultimate height of leasing and competition, where a landowner was given an agreement that you read and say, oh, wow, this is a great agreement. No, they are drafted by the companies after a lot of thought, after the evolution of time. When there's a problem or something comes up in an agreement that the company finds wasn't beneficial, maybe there was a court case, maybe there was a dispute, and the company finds, oh boy, that didn't work out real well for us. So what do? They go back and they adjust, they tweak, they change the language in their form agreements to make sure that doesn't happen to them again. And this has happened for 100 years. So they've got pretty darn smart. You as a landowner, understandably, you have not, I don't think so, been doing it for 100 years with lawyers working for you, teams of people working for you, adjusting the contract each and every time a negative issue comes up to make sure it doesn't come up again. That's what you're against. So you need to have somebody fighting for you. Fighting, working for you. Again, if it's not me, let it be somebody that knows what they're doing, that can advise you and guide you and can improve the agreement by way of more money and by way of better terms. But that's what you need to be working on. And it's just not, you don't get that experience in a vacuum. These guys do it all the time. I do this. This is what I do. Been doing it, all the time for years now. And I learn things virtually every day. I see new things. We study things. We learn more about the development process. So we got to take advantage of that experience and knowledge and make it work for you. Not, oh, wow, the landman, he was a really nice guy. Well, they don't come out and start slapping people around. No, they come out and they want to be nice. Because why? Because they want you to sign an agreement. They want you to sign an agreement. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark of the Clark Law Firm. So I'm talking about the survey authorization form. So I'm going to jump back to that. So this form, paraphrasing, allows the company, this was for a pipeline survey. Well, it comes off as we want a survey for the pipeline. But remember, it says land, civil, archaeological, biological, cultural, environmental, geotechnical, historical surveys, and any and all other reasonable surveys related to the proposed pipeline. That's a lot. And anybody can come on the property. There's no limitations to number, times, how they go on the property. None. So what do we need to do there? Hey, yeah, you may be open to this and you want to grant reasonable survey permission. Is it crazy? Is it unreasonable to say, hey, if someone's going to come on my property, I'd like a call the day before or a couple days before to have notice so I don't look out and there's 10 people on my property all over the place. There's ATVs. Who knows what there is? Is that unreasonable? Is that an unreasonable request? Well, of course it's not. No, it's not. Also, this agreement has nothing in it. When does it begin? When does it end? Well, it's going to begin the day you hand it to them. When is it going to end? No one knows. No one knows. I sure as heck can't tell you. Nobody can. There's no ending to this document. Also, can it be assigned or transferred to someone else? Well, it's silent to that effect. So you might be given permission to this company, and then another company is assigned this document, and now they have permission. So we have no limitations on how long this is going to be. We have no notice as to when someone is going to come on the property. So what do we need to do about that? Also, what if there's a problem? What if there is a problem? Or what if you want to find out, hey, who's on my property? Or why are these guys doing this? Or why are these guys doing that? Or maybe they go on your property with pickup trucks, ATVs. Maybe they put ruts in your property. Maybe they create a condition that you don't like. Maybe they're out there, maybe they're out there smoking, throwing garbage around. I don't know, just examples. But maybe there's things occurring that you don't like, or you say, I don't even know who these people are. So you want to call the company that you gave permission to find out, hey, what's going on? One thing that's pretty darned amazing to me anyway, there is no contact information for you if you sign this. Who do you talk to if you have any questions, concerns, or problems? Well, there's a company there, and in this case, it's a pretty darn big company. If I were a landowner, I would have no idea in the world of what to do. So what do? You call the corporate offices and say, I have a survey permission form out here in Tioga, Bradford, wherever we're at, Susquehanna. Is that what you do? Or do you write a letter? What do you do? There's a problem. Who are these people on my property? Well, you would think, and this isn't, look, it doesn't just come up in survey forms, but it is amazing to me. It is amazing to me. I get letters from companies, from the company. We get letters. And there is no, normally a letterhead has your name, your address, your fax number, your email address. It has all of this contact information. I get letters from companies, enormous companies, big energy companies, from individuals fairly high up in these companies. And it is beyond remarkable to me that they don't even have a phone number for the person who wrote you the letter. And sometimes there's not even a return address to find out if I wanted to write back to them. Where do I send the letter? But no phone number. This survey authorization form, good luck getting in touch with this company if you have a problem. How unreasonable is it to ask for, who do I call if there's a problem? It's amazing. Yeah, this guy's real pro landowner. By the way, landowner, if you have a problem, good luck for you, because you can't find me and you can't find them. And, I'm a broker out here trying to get people to sign documents, so I can't handle problems anyway, most likely. So that's nuts. So we need to have contact information if there's a problem. We need to define, how long are you giving survey permission for? Forever? For the rest of your life? For as long as this property exists? Or maybe for a year, 6 months, 9 months? How long are you giving it for? And by the way, if someone's going to come on your property, how are you going to know? Perhaps we throw in, hey, 24-hour notice, 48-hour notice before anyone comes on the property. Having a defined deadline as to when this company can, or how long they can go on to the property to conduct surveys. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. Also, another thing, we want to have the ability to revoke or terminate this permission at any time we want. If you see that you don't like what's going on, there's guys on all over your property, you don't like it, or maybe they've made ruts, or they've left garbage or junk on your property, and you say, you know what, I don't like this anymore. Well, do you have a vehicle? You say, hey, I revoke my permission, my survey permission. Well, I'd like to see that in the agreement, that we can, as the property owner, revoke that survey permission at any time, That's not crazy. That's fair and reasonable. What's crazy is, oh, hey, here, give me this survey permission, and it's silent as to how long it lasts, how many people on the property, when they're on the property, how many times they're on the property. Remember again, what types of surveys? Land, civil, archaeological, biological, cultural, environmental, geotechnical, historical, and any other survey that's reasonable. So imagine if they all do it at once. My gosh, that'd be a heck of a party. So we need to have limitations in that. And again, they're not crazy. Say, hey, look, add this, this, this. Okay, I'll sign it. We'll move on. That's the stuff that you got to look at in something that's just so simple. But it does. It drives me crazy. Well, we're partners. Oh, gosh, we're partners. Well, I'll tell you what. If I had a partner, I would darn well know my partner's telephone number. If I had a partner, I would know how to get a hold of my partner. I would not shield access to myself from my partner. I wouldn't do it. In my opinion, companies do it all the time. They shield themselves from being contacted or getting somewhere. And look, we hear it all the time. Hey, look, my opinion. And companies say, no, we're really accessible. We're partners. I talk to people all the time. They call, can't get anywhere. Fortunately, we've had the ability in dealing with these companies all the time to have the ability to communicate. When we get somebody, we can get things done. There's a lot of great people who work for the companies. There really are. There are a lot of great people, but you need to be able to get to them. You need to be able to get your problems addressed. I work with companies all the time to the mutual benefit of the company and the client. That's a partnership. A partnership isn't hiding. A partnership is communicating, working together for the mutual benefit of each side. That's a partnership. And I don't always see I hear the word partnership all the time, but I don't always see it. And we need to make sure that the blueprint, the ground rules of the partnership are very solid and fair. And those ground rules of the partnership are your documents, your gas lease, your pipeline agreement, your well pad agreement, all of the agreements that you sign, any of them. That is the blueprint and framework of your partnership, and you better darn well have a good one. Okay, that's all I have time for. Listen, stop signing bad agreements. Landman works for the company, not you, the landowner. You're listening to All Things Marcellus with me, Attorney Doug Clark. Have a great, great week, everyone.